In an exclusive interview with Patrick Bet-David on the PBD Podcast, Andrew Tate discussed a range of topics, including his sudden ban from social media, corruption, depression, and other male problems. Tate received no correspondence or explanation for his ban. He believes that social media companies should analyze public response to actions and strive to maintain the appearance of fairness to avoid being perceived as tyrannical. He also pointed out that big tech companies can coordinate efforts to silence individuals, which may result in banning from multiple platforms and services. Legal options may be available to challenge regulations governing social media companies. Tate discussed the importance of men becoming competitive to fight depression. He convinced a suicidal man to get in shape first before considering suicide, and is trying to inspire men to become anything they want. He believes that media figures don't care about men's issues, but it is important to recognize the need for men to become mentally and physically strong. Tate also talked about how trauma can be a powerful motivator for men to become the best version of themselves. He believes that men need to internalize, accept, and weaponize their traumas to become mentally strong and stoic. The society should recognize men who have been through difficulties and appreciate their strength and support. Another topic discussed was having multiple wives, which Tate believes is a sign of power and status among males. However, he emphasized that females have all the choice to decide if they want to be with such males or not. Tate also pointed out that no women have accused him of rape or sexual assault, despite his fame and fortune. Tate addressed the misconception that successful men who are good with women are a danger to society. He believes that the man with no access to women is the real threat to women. Tate also criticized people who did negative videos for personal gain, calling them hypocrites. Tate says stoicism is the ability to process emotions and turn them into something positive, and believes it is vital for personal growth. He pointed out that men are emotional and feel emotions stronger than women. Taking accountability for oneself and learning stoicism is important for personal growth. Tate also discussed the importance of embracing negative emotions to channel unlimited energy. He believes that negative emotions like heartbreak or rage can be used as fuel for productivity. Labeling oneself as a depressed person promotes helplessness, and it is important to believe in something to give it power, rather than believing in things that take your power away, such as depression. Tate emphasized the need to surround oneself with winners and avoid negativity. He believes that one becomes the sum of the 5 people they spend the most time with. It is important not to compromise one's standards for anyone, and to be ruthless in cutting off toxic friends. Choosing to spend time with people who inspire and uplift is crucial to stay focused on success. Andrew talked about how social media companies tried to suppress him, but ultimately failed. He changed his messaging prior to his ban, to avoid any misunderstandings, and now his views on Rumble prove that their attempt to suppress him was a failure. Andrew Tate believes that the social media ban made him more successful. He takes full responsibility and opportunity for a fresh start, and he has no ill will for social media companies or haters. He believes that social media companies made a mistake that damaged their own stock price and convinced people that they are no longer to be trusted. Andrew Tate also discussed the dangerous demographic of strong men who resist the slave mind. The system needs them to comply blindly, and their resistance weakens the system's control. Andrew Tate mentioned that the public sentiment towards him is changing, and he is receiving support from potential sponsors and companies. Companies are becoming more willing to sponsor him because public sentiment is changing in his favor. However, he emphasized that he only endorses things that he actually believes in, and won't compromise his integrity for money. Public sentiment is shifting in real time through social media, and Andrew Tate is influencing the hearts and minds of young men. He emphasized that he is not after money, but rather wants to create a movement that will empower men. Andrew Tate also talked about how the false narrative of being a human trafficker has been cleared. There were no charges, no criminal investigation, and no proof of human trafficking. He acknowledged that the nature of the internet is such that a false narrative is more clickable than the truth. Keep in mind this episode was before he was arrested. even though he remained innocent. Andrew Tate believes that having high expectations and boundaries can be beneficial. Enforcing physical discipline can help children understand boundaries, and having a perspective that pays attention to detail and never gives up is important. Andrew Tate's father instilled high standards and provided guidance. His father emphasized discussing death and carrying the family torch. He set high expectations and encouraged excelling in life. Andrew and Tristan, Andrew Tate's brother, learned that relying on each other was key to surviving in a sometimes violent world. Andrew Tate emphasized the importance of analyzing every firmly held belief. He encourages people to question where their beliefs came from and if they have their best interests at heart. Doing so allows people to resist the slave mind and gain a better understanding of their own beliefs. One of the topics that stood out in the interview was the difficulty of parenting in today's world. Tate argued that the modern world has opposite programming to traditional parenting, and entertainment and the internet make this programming stronger and more difficult to resist. He believes that parents must be vigilant in guiding their children's exposure to the digital world to prevent them from falling prey to harmful influences. The interview also touched on the topic of filial responsibility, with Tate sharing his experience of retiring his mother. He discussed how he takes care of her financially and how she trusts him completely. He admitted that it's hard to explain their relationship, but he emphasized the importance of taking care of family members in need. Moving on to the topic of social media, Tate shared his thoughts on Logan Paul, a social media personality who has been widely criticized for his controversial content. Tate argued that Paul is a tool of the Matrix and has no credibility, flip-flopping on any issue and being bought and sold by the media. The interview also delved into the traditional role of men as leaders, protectors, and providers in historical and modern societies. Tate argued that authority comes with responsibility and accountability, and that men need respect and authority in household relationships. He believes that the world doesn't incentivize men to stay in marriages or relationships anymore, and that men desire respect and authority, which is important for women to provide to keep the relationship healthy. On the topic of relationships, Tate emphasized the importance of love and respect. He believes that men should love and be respected by women, and that smart women understand and dangerous ones know how to manipulate. He also discussed the key traits of people in his inner circle, stating that loyalty, bravery, and ability to fight are essential traits, and that betrayal is unacceptable. Tate also argued that being too emotional in situations can lead to risks and consequences, and that filtering relationships and being stoic can help maintain professionalism and trust. He emphasized the need to be careful who you talk to and what you reveal. One of the topics discussed during the podcast was Putin's belief that presidents are controlled by power structures. According to Tate, Putin thinks that US presidents come up with interesting ideas, but are eventually controlled by people with black suits and briefcases. Putin understands that winning a vote is nice for morale, but it doesn't truly change anything in society. Moving on, Tate mentioned the overall idea of his 41 tenets to become a powerful and virtuous man. These tenets include belief in personal responsibility, emotional control, and the importance of discipline. He also stressed the importance of brotherhood, mental and physical improvement, and making a positive impact on the world. The next topic discussed was deplatforming and the need for opposing viewpoints and freedom of speech. Tate argued that deplatforming is wrong because opposing viewpoints are needed. He also mentioned that people like Logan Paul have viewers, not fans, because he's an entertainer and not a thinker. The topic of accessible corruption was also brought up during the podcast. Tate argued that corruption is prevalent in all human-run systems and that living in a place with accessible corruption is a smart choice in human nature. The discussion then moved towards the idea that more laws do not always lead to a fairer society. Tate believes that humans naturally lean towards cheating to win, and institutions of power are not immune to this inclination. The importance of protecting oneself to prevent dangerous situations was also emphasized during the podcast. According to Tate, teaching personal responsibility is more effective than expecting ideologically correct behavior from offenders. Blaming victims is not the message being conveyed, rather taking precautions and being smart. Finally, Tate discussed the danger of weakening men and promoting emotional reactions over logic. He believes that telling men to have no emotional control creates violence and danger in society. The trend of depensifying men through viral content on social media platforms is also a concerning trend that needs to be examined. And that concludes our summary of the key highlights of the exclusive interview between Andrew Tate and Patrick Bet-David on the PBD Podcast. We hope you found this video informative, and if you did, please like, share and subscribe to our channel for more. Thank you for watching.